Today, we're going to be talking about dynamics, and specifically something I like to call internal dynamics. It's not that mysterious a thing. All it means is that we're going to be aware of playing multiple dynamic levels or their limbs all within a single drum part. Now, we need a recipe, but before we can get to that, we need to get to know our ingredients so we can better know how to combine them. First, the snare drum. A snare drum plays a number of roles within your grooves. In no particular order, let's go over the articulations that we'll be using today. First, and perhaps the most famous, is the rim shot. Rim shots are articulations where the side of your stick hits the rim of the drum while the tip of the stick impacts the head of the drum all at the same time. You're making the shell of the drum resonate differently because of the two-pronged approach to hitting the drum. Basically, a rim shot just hits differently. It's loud, it has a great cracking sound, and it can even sound like a gunshot. Rim shots are loud, and they will get you noticed if you use them at the wrong time. So if you're playing the soft intro to a ballad, or maybe the singer is talking to the crowd while the band plays a vamp softly behind them, maybe hold off on the rim shots. But they are useful so often for so many grooves. 95% of the time, if I'm playing pop, funk, R&B, you name it, I'm playing the snare drum with rim shots on 2 and 4. You want to get those rim shots as consistent as possible. Try to make them sound the same every single time. If you change where you hit the drum by only an inch, it's going to ring very differently. Ingredient number 2. Now we're getting to those infamous ghost notes. You've heard them, you've played them, but how much have you really thought about them? Yes, us drummers have this special club where we get to call very quiet notes ghost notes. It's pretty cool actually. But the term doesn't tell us everything about the notes. Just how quiet is a ghost note? Well, the answer is it's as quiet as you choose. You get to determine just how quiet those notes are. And my tip is to always practice trying to play them a little bit quieter than you're used to. Those little notes go a long way to making a groove feel great, but it's easy to overdo it. Here's another quick tip. Be mindful of the physical placement of your ghost notes as well. Getting your ghost note articulation to sound consistent is a key part in making a rhythm repeat well and therefore have more groove and feel really good. A lot of drummers like playing their ghost notes in the center of the drum, but I prefer the lighter tone that you get from playing near the edge of the drum. So I play my ghost notes near the edge of the drum and then I return back to the center for the rim shots. Next up is the hi-hat. This one instrument makes for 3 ingredients in our recipe today. First, we have the note on the top of the hi-hat, and we're gonna play those quietly with the tip of the stick, a lot like the ghost notes on the snare drum. Hi-hat ingredient 2 is the edge of the hi-hats played with the side of the stick. Like any articulation, you can play these at any number of dynamic levels, but we're gonna keep them at a moderate volume for now, a little bit louder than the notes on the top. Ingredient 3 would be your open hi-hat notes. Make sure you have the previous 2 articulations nice and closed sounding with the pressure of your left foot, and then do the opposite here. Release that pressure by lowering the back of your foot on the hi-hat pedal, and you'll get a nice sizzly open sound when you hit the edge of the hi-hat. What's our final ingredient? The kick drum. Of course, you can play your kick drum at all manner of dynamic levels, but for now we're gonna keep all of those notes strong, which will create a nice even bed of support for the rest of the groove to sit on. And now the recipe. In a small bowl, mix our 2 hi-hat notes with 4 ghost notes on the snare drum. We're then going to whisk in our rim shots on 2 and 4, and then add in the desired number of kick drums. Finally, when all of that is well mixed and really tasty, we're gonna sprinkle in a couple of open hi-hats. Of course, a groove like this is the perfect dish to serve up with a side of pop, R&B, funk music, you name it. But I want to encourage you to first try it alone without music. Sit with this groove a while and really let it simmer. Get to know what it takes to make it feel amazing. You want to let this bake for a long time. Unlike conventional recipes, I can't tell you how long that will take. You have to determine for yourself when the recipe is done. The best part is you get to make this your own. Add your own flavor, your own spices, your own sound and style. And you're not just finding your own sound and style, but you're actively creating it. What makes this recipe so practical is the fact that we're reducing it to its core elements: kick drum, snare drum, hi-hat, and finding multiple dynamic levels within that. You'll find this a useful jumping off point for an endless number of grooves and rhythms. Even with today's example being quite a conventional rhythm, try applying these same dynamic principles to your own recipes. Shuffle those rim shots around, try different time signature, reverse the order of the hi-hat dynamics. You get to make this your own and create and discover so many things, and they're going to feel dynamic and alive. I hope you enjoyed this dynamic recipe as much as I enjoyed making it. How do you practice? What do you practice? And how do you make the most out of your time on the drum set? Well, click this video to find out all about how you can take your practice to the next level, and I'll see you over there.